Sup everybody, episode 26, and this week is my theme and it's wild rides. Where this episode takes us, no one's gonna know. But anyway, saddle up and enjoy the ride.
Chew the fat.
Boys,
Yo.
we're back.
Back again.
Bonjour.
Episode 26.
Ooh.
26.
27.
Yes.
Hey.
And this week, we hand over the reins to the wild ride maestro himself.
The theme of this episode is wild rides, and it promises to be a wild ride, I'm sure.
Strap in.
Yeah.
How did you land on wild rides, by the way, Dean?
It just came to me one time, you know?
Literally.
And I just... and, because life's a wild ride, isn't it? You know, it's been a wild ride. And I thought to myself, am I going to talk about theme parks? I did actually Google, like, theme park disasters, but I thought that would be a bit dark. And
Oh, well, there goes my segment.
Throws paper in the bin.
maybe I'm just teeing you up. And then I also thought I'll talk about personal experiences, you know?
Oh, wonderful.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Is it sharing time?
I didn't know that was happening.
Well, at the time, really,
Well, aren't you guys lucky? If you're getting tidbits from his wild life.
like the time I nearly died atop a Guatemalan volcano. Yeah, that's actually,
Yeah.
yeah.
Also, titbits.
Yeah.
Tidbits.
Did I say tit?
Oh, stop swearing.
We do
I
that.
got mams on the brain.
Tidbits.
Yeah, wild rides, lads. I know it's been hard to think for stuff, hasn't it? Especially for me, even though I created the episode. But, you know.
Well, the whole point of this themes was if you thought of something that came up organically, you'd then get the theme of it. Whereas you did it the other way around. You know, you season your pan before you put the meat in.
I actually do put the seasoning in.
Of course you do.
I do.
Of course you do.
You've got to cook the seasoning first, then it break it
Wow,
down.
that's crazy.
Yeah, that's the thing with salt. It's not broken
salt.
down enough.
So there's more seasonings than salt and pepper, you know.
Really?
Says the man that eats ham sandwiches.
Oh, I'll tell you what. Quick,
No, but sometimes
quick.
you just don't want seasoning. That's the wild ride of life, isn't it?
Talking about white people.
It's not all up.
Because you said there's more seasoning than salt and pepper.
Yeah.
I was watching Hunt for the Wilder People last night, and he goes, he
He got
reads,
me.
which is brilliant, and it's the young lad going, they're after a young boy and a Caucasian male. That's not right. You're white. It's like it's so good.
It's one of the funny lines out of
Yeah,
that
it's
show.
brilliant. What a great show.
I didn't see it, you know.
It's phenomenal. It's so
meh. I thought it
heartwarming
was meh.
and funny. It's not. It's great.
It was heartwarming, so you didn't like it.
It's funny.
Says the vampire.
Anyway, Dean,
Right.
let's
Hello.
strap into this ride, shall we?
Yes. Seatbelts on. Not going where we thought we were going to go, but I've got some animal-related wild rides.
Ooh. Okay.
Animal racing.
Ooh.
Forms of animal racing.
Porpoise Derby.
Okay. So... What?
The Porpoise Derby. It's another Boosh quote. I'm sorry.
Literally, they've covered everything, haven't they?
Everything.
It's incredible. But there was quite a few, you know, but I've just picked two to save us.
Are we just going to watch an hour of cockfighting now and react to it? Illegal cockfighting.
Bloody cockfighting.
So grab your popcorn, boys and girls, and the first one was it's the world famous lizard race in Lovington, New Mexico.
Okay.
Lizard racing.
World famous is
Well,
generous.
we've been to Mexico. Them lizards can move
Oh, they'll get you.
when they're startled,
Yeah, they'll get you.
like a rat up a drain pipe.
Okay, they are quick, but I was also thinking of like the ones, you know, they're just like
Yeah.
like that,
Yeah.
and then they move like super slow.
But I think with the lizard, it's all about motivation, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's about if it wants to move, it can move.
You're thinking
Wow.
about a chameleon.
Yeah,
I think.
true.
With their mitten hands.
Which is a reptile.
Which
But,
is, you're right, it is a reptile.
The podcast that amuses and educates.
Yes, exactly. We don't miss a thing. But the World Lizard Race, which takes place each year in New Mexico, I don't know if it still does anymore, actually, but apparently began in 76, but went into hiatus until 1981, right? So it's obviously back. Because during the inaugural race, nervous lizards started eating each other.
Wow.
Flip it out.
Easy for you to say.
Imagine that. It's not a race, is it? If they're all dead.
What reporter decided they were nervous? I've never seen anything eat something else and go, "Oh, to be fair, he was only nervous." When my ex-old bully rips apart a family of four, sorry, you made him nervous.
How have the Excels been brought into this? Nervous cannibalism is new to me as well, to be fair.
But so they've found a solution to the lizards eating each other.
Good.
The ones who try to eat each other are swiftly disqualified.
That'll do it.
And what about the one that's been eaten? He's still in the race.
You've trained your whole life. Don't throw it away now by trying to eat him. All right. The threat enough is enough for me to not do it. So, I would assume that they would have to be the same lizard for it to be a fair race.
No,
are you just picking?
Can come in any shape,
Mate,
stripes.
a Komodo
So they've got
dragon.
like a monitor, a monitor lizard, and just grabbing a tiny little newt, breaking its back with its hand. What's
Godzilla.
It's like Robot Wars. You remember Robot Wars when like
Do I remember
a
Robot
kid and
Wars?
his dad, and his kid would be like, "I spent all summer making this robot," and then Sergeant whatever its name was, Kill-a-Lot comes in and just kills his dreams. Just pincers it, lifts it up.
End of a line.
Side note: do you see how big those robots were?
Yeah.
It's insane.
On TV, you think they're that big? They're like 2-3 meters. Some of them are. Anyway, sorry. What a show.
Hypnodisc was class,
was
by the way.
Yeah.
Unbeaten.
Soaring things in half.
Unbeaten. But so with the race, the trainers encouraged the lizard athletes. This is a generous thing, isn't it? To race up a 16-foot ramp by tickling them with feathers.
Yeah.
So they're not really right. They're being forced. Aren't
Performance enhancing drugs.
they? Yeah.
We need to stamp it out. You give so much airtime to sloppy reporters, don't you? In this podcast, like their reporting skills should never see the light of day. But you get your hands on it, and the whole world hears it.
Yeah. Well, when you're covering lizard racing,
Yeah, at least
it's not
35
not
people
got-
have heard this
it's
now.
not got Peter Drury on it, has it? Do you know what I mean?
I'm picturing, like in like the newspaper HQ, and like the guy who's the guy from Spider-Man that shouts all the time, and
J. Jonah Jameson.
yeah, that type of character going, Jones, you're taking the natural disaster. You've got the Lakers. What about me, boss? Going over that lizard racing over in New Mexico. It's just like, oh no, when will I get my big break?
You see if their feathers are regulation size.
Yeah.
Make sure.
It's not adding up to me. I smell a rat.
Would the winner of every year had the biggest feather?
Ostrich
Or the-
feather.
or the-
Just-
Yeah. Or it was made out of something.
Ostrich racing was one as well, by the way.
oh, yeah, I bet.
Yeah, what else is there?
So, and I've also found greyhound jockey.
Oh, God.
Greyhound jockeys, or monkey jockeys, were capuchin monkeys trained to ride racing dogs for sport. For sport. It was a 500-metre race course in Sydney, Australia, in 1927 and 28. And we have a small video.
Oh,
From 1927.
hold on a sec. Now, this isn't adding up.
Is it a silent film?
Shall I send it to you?
Send it to me.
I can't wait to see this.
Honestly.
Is it all going to be like
I'm
really
amazed
quick?
they don't... It's amazing they don't fly off. Let me just tell you that now. But
Because aren't
anyway.
capuchins the ones that are really slender?
Is it the whole video we've got to watch?
You ain't got to watch. You can forward to about halfway.
They're fully jockeying.
Oh my god.
This is an amazing film for 1927.
Oh, no.
I think it's later than that.
No, they did it in America as well, actually. I think this might be from the 70s. So.
Yeah, I was going to say. Them dogs can move, can't they?
Jesus Christ.
How are they holding on?
They must have reins of some sort.
Monkey paws.
But you think about it, if humans can hold on to horses, monkeys can hold on to,
Yeah.
to
well,
dogs.
depends how much they want to hold on, really, doesn't it?
Oh, but monkeys can hold on. That's what monkeys do.
They use the tails underneath, isn't it?
Yeah.
Steering.
So, there you go. There's a couple.
Well, funny you should mention monkey jockeys.
Oh, my God.
Because we're going to head over to Japan now.
Okay.
So I was actually in the Natural History Museum recently, and I saw the Wildlife Photographer of the Year award,
Yeah.
which I go to every year. If you haven't been, you live in London, it's great. It's about £15 a ticket. It's just a load of amazing pictures of wildlife. And there was a picture in like a rainforesty type, might not be a rainforest, very lush forest of a deer and a monkey. You think, that's kind of fun. Monkey just jumped on a deer. Oh, and just jump on, tried to mate with it. Right? So I thought this morning, when we were planning this episode, that came into my head. So I did a bit of digging. Oh, boy, did I find something. So Yakushima Island is a Japanese island. And they have deer, sika deer, and snow monkeys, also known as Japanese macaques. And basically, it's been known for the monkeys to jump on the deer there, and they kind of groom them. They all basically have this area where there's loads of food, no predators, and they all kind of chill out there, groom them, jump on them, kind of just, the deer's just fine with it. But until... There was one video that went viral in Asia of a male macaque basically trying to have sex with the female deer, like actually try and do it. And so that basically got a load of scientists to start investigating his behavior. And it turns out it's not the men that are the problem, it's the adolescent women, monkeys, right, that have just discovered their mojo jojo. See what I did there? And basically, they like bump and grind on top of these deer. And these deer are just dumb as anything. Just and they've been doing all sorts. So,
so wait, the female monkey puts the juice on the deer.
Well, so they started just gyrating, right? And it turns out that in some instances, the female monkeys have actually initiated sex with the deer. So they're actually trying to like back up underneath into it, because these monkeys are obviously having sex for pleasure as well. And
another monkey's confused.
Well, there's a lot going. This is a wild ride.
Yeah.
My goodness
there
me.
you go.
And a literal ride as well.
The scientist said this is the first quantitative. I can never say that word. This is the first quantitative study of heterospecific sexual behaviour between a non-human primate and a non-primate species.
Because we've been doing it.
Yeah. After counting a total of 67 mounts between two female monkeys and 258 female monkey-on-deer mounts, the researchers identified 25 successful interactions defined by 3 or more mounts within a 10-minute period. They put some guardrails up for this, haven't they? Mostly, the deer didn't seem to care at all. They nonchalantly stood there and even kept eating. And only a few reared up to dislodge the horny monkeys from their backs.
Wow.
And I've got a video.
Oh,
Yes.
God.
So they kind of, this is the PG version, by the way.
Oh, my goodness.
This one's into a little bit of BDSM.
They're choking.
Come here, you!
Oh, my.
Wow.
Naughty monkey, eh?
Wow. You know when you said that when they were trying to figure out like why the monkeys are doing it, I just thought about the South Park episode where they gave the monkey loads of money.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it starts behaving like a pimp.
I thought there was going to be loads of lab coat wearing Japanese men playing
clipboard.
Marvin Gaye out into the thing with a clipboard.
Changing the music. Yeah, putting like twerking music on it. See if it...
Strawberries and cream. Sorry.
By 112.
We do love the Japanese as well.
Oh, we do.
Yeah.
Talking of naughty monkeys, there's a few naughty monkeys out there who haven't yet subscribed to us. So if you are one of those naughty little monkeys,
That was phenomenal.
please make sure you drop us a like, please drop us a comment, and please subscribe. We are motoring our way up to getting monetized at the moment, and every subscription makes such a difference. So thank you so much for all of you that have so far, and those that haven't, just quickly do it now. It takes literally 5 seconds.
Yep. And everybody also on Apple Music, Spotify, keep listening, keep liking. 5 stars, tell your friends. 5 stars, tell their friends. 5 stars, let's go.
Love it. Perfect. I've got a little story that I don't even need to look at my phone because this is one that's in my head.
Nice.
Okay. So when you said wild rides, this is the first thing that came into my head. So I thought I've got to do it, and I've got to do it justice.
It's thought evoking.
Yeah, and we're going to move away from Japan, and this happened to actually Joe, who's one of our mutual friends, his cousin, who I've been at a few do's with him before, so I'm friendly terms with him. This must have been maybe 10 years ago now that he told me this story. it was his stag do, and he's got some friends that are a little bit rough around the edges, shall we say, and they went on a atypical Brits abroad stag do to Latvia. You know, when it was all the trend of like almost sex tourism, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like, you
yeah,
know,
yeah,
cheap
basically.
beer, prostitution, countries that would just let you get away with murder, basically. And
They killed a guy.
well, so I don't remember if this is whatever night this is. Anyway, they're on the stag do and they get taken down into a bar. He's a stag. And they're in, I think Riga is the capital of Latvia. They go down into this bar and it's downstairs and they put him on a chair in the middle and he's like, here we go, strippers are coming. And they basically blindfold him. And then as they blindfolded him, he sat in this chair and all of a sudden he hears like shouting, different language, people like chairs falling over. And basically he gets grabbed really aggressively. His friends are kind of saying like, whoa, 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 you know, like, and obviously he's got no sight. So this is amplified tenfold. He gets dragged up the stairs. He's handcuffed at this point, gets thrown in a boot, driven around for about half an hour. And when I say driven around, like thrown, yeah, gets taken out of the boot. This is half an hour, must be a hell of a long time in that situation. And still blindfolded.
You're macacking your pants at this point, aren't you?
Yeah, you are. Well, funny you should say that. He did actually piss himself.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is the part where that happened. Took him out, put him on his knees and cocked a gun next to his head.
Wow.
And he's thinking like, this is it. This is how I die.
Wow.
They shoot, but obviously like, not
Wow.
him. Put him back in the boot, drive around for like 15 more minutes and take him out 15 minutes later. All he said he remembers is like, at this point, he's like just so cooperative in terms of just like, he's not resisting.
Yeah,
he's just
yeah.
like, my life is not in my hands anymore.
Yeah,
he's like thinking about his kids. He's crying. He's like,
Jesus Christ.
gets dragged down, puts onto a chair, blindfold taken off. All his mates are going, "Way!" They'd paid 80 quid to the police in Latvia. And that was an actual policeman that did that to him.
No fucking way.
And he's there with
80 quid.
piss-stained jeans. He thought he was going to get a ride from a stripper, a wild ride.
Yeah, he got a different kind of wild ride.
And he said at that point, I went, you must have been fuming at them. He was like, to be honest, I was so happy to see him.
Oh.
At that point, he'd been broken down so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
That's
true.
a wild ride.
That's bad.
Yeah.
That's so bad. I'd kill them all.
It's cheap though.
I'd systematically kill all of them.
Yeah.
It's not.
I know. Yeah, I would have lunged for everyone.
Yeah, they're not leaving Riga, are they?
How much was it, boys? 80 quid. Yeah, gears.
Yeah.
80 quid, you know.
80 quid.
But you must have some form of like trauma from that. Even if it's short-lived because you've processed it as a joke. Like,
Oh, he'll not happily be blindfolded again.
No.
No.
Absolutely not.
on his honeymoon, his missus is like, "Oh, I've got something for us."
Who gets a blindfold?
He pulls out a gun.
He's just get away. Don't know where I've had this the whole time.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's an insane story.
Wow. Friends, huh?
I just think with stag do's, it's all fun and games, and I've been the best man, and I've dressed up like an idiot. Well, not I've dressed the stag up like an idiot.
Yeah.
I think that's fine. But when you start doing things that actually go past humiliation and they're just like nasty,
Yeah.
I'm like, this is to celebrate me getting married. Like, why can't we just go and do something nice?
Yeah.
That we all like. Granted,
Well,
I'll
have
be
you
the
got to
butt.
strip me
I'll
down
be
to
the
my,
butt of the joke.
my sometimes skin and also
Yeah.
my actual
was-
morals. Be
There was
stripped
one
down.
guy that was like sellotaped to like a lamppost really high up, naked. I think that was in England.
I think I remember seeing that.
This is years and years ago, and you're like, just left there.
It's a bridge too
And they
far.
all went and had a whole night without him. It's like, it's his stag.
Yeah, that's no longer fun.
No.
That's not fun at all,
No.
actually. Oh, I don't
No.
like that.
No. Anyway,
Yeah. Good on him.
what a wild ride, eh?
Anyway, it's time for Mr. Clayton Cinema Club.
Woo! Okay, here we go. This is a good one.
Okay.
Hopefully you're going to like this one.
Side note,
Yeah.
I tried to watch Three Kings last night.
Oh, tell me.
It's not anywhere.
Is it not?
I have a stick.
Yeah.
It's not even on there.
Jeez. See, the hiding
Not even on
like,
your fire stick.
like the
I had-
treasure that it is.
Out him straight away. That's like Wedding Crashers.
I think
Hard to get.
I bought that on Amazon in lockdown.
Same.
Yeah.
Because yeah.
My purchases on Amazon Prime are wild, by the way.
It's a wild ride.
Wild. Point Break's on there though.
Point Break is such an unbelievably good film. It's just
Some wild rides in that. At the end of that movie, he has a wild ride, riding that wave.
God, that's such a good film. It's such a good film. Right,
Tubular.
I'm going to put a little bit of a spotlight on Tubular, by the way. Ding, ding. That's crazy. I'm going to put a bit of a spotlight on a film that most people couldn't give a shit about.
Lovely.
Final Destination 3.
Yeah.
Yeah?
You've
I
lost
get
me.
confused between 1, 2,
Yeah.
and 3. To be
Amazing.
honest.
I understand the premise
The
of all of
reason
them.
I'm going to go through that in a second. The reason I landed on this one because the central theme of this, or the central accident that happens in this one, roller coaster.
Got you.
That's how we got here.
Okay.
Right, so I'm going to do a little bit on just what the basic premises of Final Destination, and these movies are so stupid. But like the premise is basically built off the concept of a group of people surviving a large-scale accident, primarily by someone in that group having like a clairvoyant moment and is able to foresee the accident happening before it happens, and then successfully warning them all, let's not do this thing.
Yeah, and then they've cheated death, basically, haven't
They've cheated death. Now, of course, Death Design is not too happy with this. And now it comes to the point where all of those people start to die in the same sequence, the same order that they would have died in the initial accident. The only way out of this, or they found, is that if they manage to intervene and cheat death a second time by finding some clues, they'll be able to save that person permanently.
It's such a film, isn't it?
It's so-
All we have to do is find some clues.
It's so
Like death
ridiculous.
leaves clues.
Yeah.
doesn't he? You know what I mean?
In this film, it's in the clues are all in photographs. So, for example, like a guy that gets chewed up by a fan, in a picture of him from that night that it happened, there's a picture where there's a fan just behind his head, and you put the two and two together and go, he's gonna get killed by a fan, right? That's how this film works.
Brilliant.
There was a YouTube comment, by the way, that just gives an example of how this franchise's deaths work, and I'll just read it as it is. So, Final Destination deaths be like: you trip on a box, you fall off a building, you bounce off a lawnmower, then you're impaled by like an errant Kit Kat that was just floating past. That's basically.
Yeah. It's like, oh my God, that was so close. And then you have a paper cut that gives you sepsis.
It's so much subversion of expectations. It's the stupidest thing. But I thought I would just highlight 3 of the specific instances of this film, just to sort of talk through how the deaths work, because they're just amazing. Okay, so as I said, the central disaster in this film is a faulty roller coaster that sees a group of high school friends meet their end in increasing one by one in increasingly gruesome fashion. That scene you guys should watch.
That's the opening scene, is
it's
it?
just ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's like the thing that happens in the first 5 minutes. It starts off with like a guy dropping his camera, and it falls down to the next level and wraps itself around another part of the roller coaster,
brilliant.
and that then causes like a sparking explosion to it's just insane.
Better or worse than the start of Ghost Ship?
Oh my God, that would be the top. That's S tier.
Yeah.
In terms of movie deaths from this franchise,
Okay,
it would be
yeah.
phenomenal. So that would be the top of the totem.
S tier.
So I'm going to go through the first one, which it's engine trouble. So basically, the main 2 characters are pulled into a drive-in just to like stop and like think about some of the evidence that they've got.
You
or
just
whatever.
stop taking transport,
Just
wouldn't you?
you wouldn't do anything. You just this is what
If
they're
you
doing.
cottoned on to what had happened,
Yeah.
no, I'm staying in now for a bit.
Because they've basically sussed out the ins and outs of this based on what happened in the previous film or whatever. But they stop in a drive-through to look through the evidence that they've got. And just by random happenstance, they're suddenly locked in the car. The car doesn't work anymore. A bit of sheet metal lands on the door. They just can't get out. And there's a runaway van in the background just getting ever closer. That's like, it's coming to get them, essentially, right? Just whatever.
What, the drivers fell asleep at the wheel or something?
Some nonsense has happened. It's now moving by itself. Now
He's pressing the brake and it's not working.
Nothing's happening.
Yeah.
All that shit. But basically, the subversion of expectations is this. Right at the last minute, the 2 of them manage to smash the windshield and get out and jump out of the way. And you think, it's fine. Turns out, one of the other people that was saved from this earlier accident, the roller coaster accident, was parked right in front of them. So the van goes into the back of their car. The engine of their car shoots out the front and goes straight into the back of his head. And that's the propeller on the engine goes into his head and like chews him up. And
What, the car that hasn't started?
the car that's
Also, cars still have propeller engines in them.
it's a biplane.
It's carburettor.
So this is a super basic one. Now, Himbro, the next one, after this has happened, they then go to a gym to speak to the jock and be like, mate, like this is what's happening. Let me warn you about all of this. But in obviously typical movie jock fashion, doesn't want to hear anything about it at all.
They're just obnoxious, aren't
Yeah, he's Mr. Invincible.
Yeah.
He doesn't care. He's like, I'm above death. Death can't get me. Like pumping.
We're trying to help you, Chad.
Sounds like somebody I know, hey.
If it was a pigeon.
Yeah, let's get you a varsity jacket. It's not a million miles off.
So basically, he goes on a little bit of a tirade about how he's invincible and it's not going to get him. So get lost. So he continues to pump that iron, and then a wall-mounted school insignia, which is 2 crossed swords, just comes loose. The swords swing down towards him, and you think, oh shit, this is what's going to get him. They slice, but nothing happens. What they've actually done is cut one of the cables on the machine that he's using, and while he's like full tension and the weights are suspended above him, the cable has been sliced. Those weights now swing down and smash his head from both sides like a watermelon,
Like an Idaho potato.
It just everywhere, right? This is the second one.
Talking about exercising to failure.
That's the perfect joke, by the way. That's the perfect joke for that scenario.
Hey.
Deadlift. Right. And the third and final one I want to talk about is the most ridiculous of all of them. So
Skull Crusher.
Oh,
Too late, sorry.
two more of the characters go to a tanning salon to get on the tanning beds. Now, this one's quite famous. You might have heard of that.
Yes,
you haven't seen the film.
I've seen this one, I think.
So they've broken all of the rules. They come in there, they fiddle with all the thermostats, they bring bottles of drink and stuff like that.
They know they're about to die, so they go, I just need a tan.
Now, so these two don't know.
Okay, fair enough.
Also, everyone hates them, so no one's even bothered to tell them. This
Yeah,
is happening,
okay.
right? So
They're the mean girls, aren't they?
They're just two assholes.
Let's just not tell them death's coming for them and watch how they die.
So they go in there, they take a big gulp or whatever, and they put it on the side, and that messes with some of the stuff, the electrics. They turn the thermostat up themselves anyway, and basically a literal gust of wind happens, and loads of bric-a-brac just falls around the room. And somehow they're now trapped inside their sunbeds.
Yeah, it lands on top, isn't it? Yeah.
Something lands and then falls in between them and perfectly sandwiches both of them in. And the malfunction causes both of them to like basically turn into a solar flare and heats up so much that they just catch fire and they get completely like barbecued.
That'd be a bad way to go, by the way.
It really would. They end up with what did I write? They end up with a
nice tan.
a much more permanent tan than they ever bargained for. Ha ha! Just kidding. They die horribly. And that's basically why.
Did you write that for yourself?
Yeah.
Future Ben's gonna love it. This.
They get absolutely cooked, pair of them. Really impressive, by the way. That's really impressive. Important note that I've also written for myself. Everyone in this film is a bloody nightmare, so you'll be actually glad when they die.
Yeah.
Because they're all the worst
Where do
people
they find
imaginable.
American early 20s, late teen actors that play just shitty
Yes.
horror films? Because you don't see them anywhere else.
No.
They just there's so many of them. They're normally like nearly
They're all
attractive.
30, but they're all playing 18-year-olds. Yeah.
And none of them can run.
No, not consistent.
Like the girl from Taken.
Oh my god.
You seen it?
She's amazing, by the way.
I mean, you would have thought that about the guy that ended up playing Captain America when he was in like Not Another Teen Movie, wasn't it?
He's
was it Not Another
yeah,
Teen
yeah,
Movie?
yeah.
That's where he started
he's
out.
awesome.
He just looked like a normal jock out
Yeah,
I think. And then now,
yeah.
so hey,
Chris Evans is the man.
there's always one, isn't there? But
I also put little film trivia. So the name of the roller coaster was Devil's Flight in the movie. This is a real life roller coaster called the Corkscrew in Vancouver's Playland theme park. I just thought it's kind of cool. The jock, who's really famous, like well known in real life as being just a really nice guy. He's got like a charity foundation, all this kind of stuff. His real name is, hold on, make sure I get this right, Texas Battle. It's his real name.
Solid.
Unbelievable. What a geezer.
Wonder if he's red or blue when it comes to election day.
And the final thing...
Wonder where his stance on immigration is.
Oh, he's black, by the way.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Wow.
There's another bit of
threw me for a
subversion. Yeah, another bit of subversion for you.
Brilliant.
The final bit of trivia is that the cast had to ride that roller coaster 26 times in one night to get the shots that they needed. And there's a further like 30 times over the next 2 days.
also, when you're
afterwards.
filming it for the fact it's going to crash
Great.
and kill
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
That's not what you want to do,
Can't
is
feel
it?
good. No, can't feel.
Just get on that one more time. Oh my god, this is the time it's going to happen.
Yeah, they're crazy films, aren't they?
Completely
But they're self-aware, I think.
Yes, there's fun to be had in that.
It's
That's
like
not
Fast
the-
and Furious in a
not the worst
way.
one. Yeah.
I did some research into kind of malfunctioning theme parks because I am anti-theme park. Don't like them. Think they're
Really?
rubbish.
Yeah, that's not for you. Is it?
And
I think they're rubbish.
well, it's just not me. I don't like
not
the
for
idea
you.
of queuing for ages and
Yeah,
then being on
there's a
something
lot
for
of
long.
queuing. There's
I
a
don't like the feeling of being like scared like that. It's just not good for me. And yeah, so I'm doing some propaganda on why you should never go on a roller
I
coaster.
love a roller coaster.
So there are roughly 30,000 amusement park related injuries each year. However, fatal accidents are much rarer, with just a handful occurring over the last decade. However, I'm going to kind of go back on myself. The chance of being injured on a ride at a permanent US amusement park is 1 in 16 million. Bearing in mind it's 1 in 700,000 to get struck by lightning, which sounds a bit ridiculous because there's a lot more than 700,000 people in the world. But who, again?
Yeah. I'm with you.
So basically, the thing about theme parks that I really don't get is, all right, going to Six Flags, you know, Alton Towers, Disneyland, Orlando, whatever the one, Universal, whatever it is, where they've put a lot of money in. And by the way, things still go wrong at those. People have died at Disneyland and stuff. But when you go for like, you know, the Traveller Run carnivals that just pull up on a green for a week and they've got like spray painted versions of Mel Gibson on the side next to Celine Dion. And you're thinking,
Why Mel Gibson and Celine Dion?
because they're always not.
They do
They're
have
like
that,
powder
yeah.
coated.
Oh, right.
I promise you, I'll put it up on screen now. Like the kind of things I'm on about. But they're like so rickety. These things, and you're thinking these have just been put down how many times? At least the things
They've
have
been driven across the country.
M6
Yeah.
for a
Yeah.
week. Yeah. All them nuts and bolts rattled loose.
Yeah, it's awful. I mean, one guy, for example, James Hackmer, fell from the Ride of Steel in 2011 at Six Flags in New York. So it's a pretty established thing. This guy was a veteran from the US Army after serving in Iraq. Was a double amputee, losing both legs. And he's thinking, I've got through life, talking about subversion. And then he was seated in the front row of a ride, and because he didn't have any legs to secure the lap belt, he just flew out. And the guy was like, that'll do. Because again, the guy's doing
By
this.
teenagers.
Yeah.
There was one in Japan that happened in 2007. This sounds so grim, right? Stand-up roller coaster. So you're hooked in like this. You're standing up. Basically, it went round a turn and something was loose. Whatever happened, this young woman's head got caught between the train, if you call it a train, I guess, you know, and the guardrail. They didn't stop the ride for 2 minutes.
Oh.
And then a few other people were hurt as well. But apparently the sight was just...
Jesus.
She'd been filed down from the head, basically.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And you're thinking, that's where families are. Young kids are.
There's a few traumatised from wherever. People
massively.
there.
When you look at it like that, a lot of people have had really nice days out.
Yeah,
you know?
no, absolutely. Absolutely.
Let me just tip the balance a little. No.
Something I found out that I didn't know. In 1972, the Big Dipper was in Battersea Park around the corner, and it got
saw
shut
that.
down because 5 people died on that.
Yeah.
It basically went up the one way, didn't quite get high enough, came back down, and it's not designed to go
do
that way.
But there was a
And
big crowd as well. And everything,
big crowd,
wasn't it?
yeah. And I had a look at some videos. But I didn't even want to post show them on here. I just thought it was a bit too much. But
That's the one I saw the Battersea one and thought, yeah.
yeah. But
Here it is.
to lighten the mood, I've got a wild ride from the Middle East. I'm going to say an Arab country, based on the comments and based on what the guy's wearing.
The Wild Wedding.
Oh, well, this is a bit wild, Weddy.
This is great. This.
I'll take the music off for copyright purposes.
Lads just love driving without seatbelts on.
know.
And driving crazy without seatbelts on.
Yeah.
And they think that like thin piece of white linen's gonna. You know how lucky he was to
But
land in the water.
do we think he's all right? Because I saw this the other day and I was like, he's still broken a few things.
Oh, yeah. It rolled before it threw him.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, just the whiplash alone. This is a wild ride. A wild ride for the judges in this courtroom. This is what this is. This is a local person taking some judges for a wild ride. And his name's Tiny, and he's speaking to his core of, I'm guessing, like his local state, I'm kind of assuming, why his state should allow sports betting. This video is amazing.
My name is Tiny, and I'm a professional sports gambler. But unfortunately, my career is at a standstill because I got 6 baby mamas all in the DFW Metroplex. So I can't live in a state that's got legal gambling, in a sense it will be March Madness. I'm coming up here to beg y'all to make sports gambling legal in the city so I can stack my paper and pay for the illegitimate children's. I know some people think sports betting is risky, but I got an unbeaten system that can put money in all y'all pockets. Seriously. My system is easy. I bet on the blackest and darkest teams in college sports because blacker the berry, sweeter the juice, and better the jump shot. I also got a sports betting angle that is foolproof since y'all want to let all these transgenders up in the league. That is full proof since y'all want to let all these transgenders up in the league. I became almost a millionaire betting on Leah Thomas's big ass winning all them swimming meets. And just like these transgender swimmers, my swimmers are strong. That's why I got so many baby mamas. But you know what that means? I got a lot of bills to pay. So I'm sick of risking my life and my freedom on gambling illegally on transgender.
That's a wild ride in that court.
The least risk-averse man in history. Of course he's got a gambling
Didn't
issue.
weigh a penny of that, did
I mean, definitely a skit.
He's an orator, though,
Yeah,
isn't he?
yeah,
That's for
he's
sure.
great.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's spinning a yarn.
These children's. Children's as a plural is crazy.
Illegal
And
children.
because the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice, and the sweeter the jump shot. And since y'all letting all these transgender up in here,
Leah Thomas's big ass.
and all these swim meets.
Leah Thomas be smoking.
Oh,
She's
where-
just fucking cooking
where-
them.
Where do you get off, eh? You know?
All right.
Not off the ride, but like, that's just insane.
Where do you
that
get
one
off?
person can just be so blinded by.
Oh, it's funny though, isn't
No,
it?
it's great. It's great. That's great. I love it. Actually, that's a good clip. That.
Laugh of the week.
So I have recently seen it. I think overall, just the trend is funny. Like the new ways of advertising and new ways of marketing are really, really funny. And I've sent you a couple of short clips, and I've got one additional one I'm going to send you afterwards. But if you have a quick look at these, took me ages to find them, by the way. And
Oh, I love these.
Yeah.
I absolutely love
it took
these.
me ages to find them, and then today I just managed to get myself onto the right algorithm.
What's
and
so
it
good
just
about
kept giving them
these,
to me.
I've only just seen a thing, so I let them play,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's always like small time local dealerships that do it.
Number 58. Oh!
Run on into Town and Country Ford, where we've got 1.9% financing on 2023 F-150s.
Wow, that's great.
I've seen this one a couple of times. pop
So
up.
good.
Come on down to Town and Country Ford, where we'll have you rolling in deals. Come get knockout deals at Town and Country Ford.
It's the same people, isn't it?
It's
Every
the same
time.
people. Now it does. Other people start doing it as well.
Já garantiu seu perfume importado pro final de semana?
Loads of the foreign language ones. And this last one, for me, these guys are really, really onto something. You might have seen this already.
السبايدر عندنا ببلاش بفضل الله. هنبيع السبايدر، كل الناس هتلبس. الترندات عندنا ب 100 جنيه بس.
بكم يا حاج؟
ب 100 جنيه بس.
ليه بس كده؟
100 جنيه بس.
السبايدر مان خرب الدنيا يا جدعان. السبايدر مان خرب الدنيا يا جدعان. ايه السبايدر مان خرب الدنيا يا جدعان. ايه السبايدر مان خرب الدنيا يا جدعان. عروضنا من غير حدود.
Is he just peddling it?
السبايدر العنكبوت.
There's so
السبايدر
many of
عندنا
them. It's the
ببلاش
same thing
بفضل
against the way
الله.
we're playing
هنبيع
again.
السبايدر كل الناس
That's
هتلبس
just their
الترندات
new way of selling all the stuff in their shop.
It's
and he
Wakey
just
Wines,
keeps it-
though.
It's yeah, you're 100% right. They started a trend.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Wakey Wines.
Yeah, it's a guy basically selling this news agents, and he got big because he made a few like TikToks, and then everyone comes to the shop. The problem is that these are flash in the pans.
Yeah, yeah.
They're real flash in the pans. Here today, gone tomorrow.
What's the best shop in Wakey?
Oh, when he makes people do that, it's grim, isn't it? I've got another quick video to show you, and I know this one again. It took me on a wild ride. The question is, what would you do with $1 million?
If you inherited $1 million, what's the first thing you would do?
Probably buy a first-class ticket to Italy for the Vatican's wet t-shirt contest. Vatican wet t-shirt contest, box seats. It's the creme de la creme of hot chicks possessed by the devil getting holy water thrown on their jugs.
I'm telling you, she was a 10. Head spinning around, scorpions coming out of her mouth, skin pitch black. Then the Pope throws the H-water, naturals of the year. I spit out my shepherd's pie.
Some guy spits shepherd's pie, lands in my mouth. I choke to death, wake up in the coffin, phone's at 1%, but I can't break my Duolingo streak. I'm learning Mexican because my wife is Spanish. Luckily, they only buried me 5 inches underground because of the dirt shortage.
I'm just saying, under Trump, we had dirt. Biden, no dirt. Without dirt, it's like, what am I supposed to shovel into my bed? Like, I need dirt to sleep.
I can't sleep without dirt. I've tried everything. Melatonin, poison, hammers.
Now, the key to making a good shepherd's pie is dirt. But you also need fear. Don't go trying to make a shepherd's pie if you're not at least a little bit scared of it, okay? It's not gonna work out.
Sometimes the demon flies out of the woman, and the demon also has beautiful breasts, so that's just kind of a nice bonus.
Hell yeah.
All from what would you do if you inherit $1 million?
That's a great little skit, that is.
That's what we want to see.
Because it's semi-serious to start with, and you realise quickly that it's just utter
great little skit.
ridiculousness.
That was a
I actually sent that to you and then unsent it.
Because, yeah, I thought...
Shall we sweeten up, shall we?
Yeah.
Birthday pie, pints of cream,
Well done, chocolate.
bonbons.
Oh, sponge cake. My favorite.
Is it going to be a wild ride of a confectionery corner, Dean?
Oh, do you know what?
Custard cream.
Well, we've had them. We've had the
I
Japanese
actually was going to
ones.
do something else, which would have been a wild ride. But this is also going to be a wild ride.
Okay, and this week, do we have facts?
Hold on. Checks. Checks facts.
Because last week's fact was, my mum made these.
That's so good, though, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, somewhat, yeah.
some hot. Okay, let us gingerly touch our tips.
Do it with your eyes closed.
Come on, Dean.
That's how he likes it.
Fill our mouths.
Anyway, so today I asked to fill up some ramekins, which is already a bit of a wild ride compared to the normal.
The word ramekin does not fit the
What they
description
are.
of what a ramekin is.
No. Listen, I'm going to bring them around this way.
Feels like a garden utensil.
Yeah, they're so cocky.
Oh, pass me the ramekin. I've got a hell of a bush overgrowth.
There you go.
You put
So,
it
Ben,
on the top of my
don't
hand.
smell or touch anything yet, all right?
I did it one time.
You did it lots of times. Okay, so it's going to be...
Oh, it's
I'm going to
quite
tell you
smell.
a fact. Don't
Yeah, how
smell
can you
it.
not smell it? Yeah, Jesus
Well,
wept.
okay, I'm going to... You
Looks
can
like
smell it, then
peanuts.
you can touch it, then you can taste it. Anyway, first fact. This is a combination of a popular bar food snack.
Yeah, peanuts.
Combination.
It's peanuts.
Okay. The flavour of this snack originates from New York.
Oh, they like American hot nuts.
I beg your pardon.
Those hot American nuts you get at
Said the
fairs.
nun to the...
Did you see that on like Austin Powers? Nuts! American hot nuts!
Come get your nuts.
Is that where I've got it from?
Johnson.
Yeah, these were originally created by the Johnson & Johnson company.
Wiener!
Sorry. Get you. The recommended limit for how many of these you should eat per day is around 16.
And you've given us 17, of course you have.
Actually, just
kill
free.
us off.
It was a free pour.
I was going to guess Snickers, but I can't imagine they would recommend you can eat 16 Snickers.
Anyway, shout out to Kaz at work for making me try these because these have blown my socks off.
Oh, let's have a look. We're going in. Oh, that's divine.
They could, aren't they? That's Moorish.
My God.
Not confectionery, is it?
It is. It is, isn't it?
That's by definition savoury. But cool.
What, are all confectionery sweet, is it?
That's the definition of a confectionery item.
Is it?
You give me a ramekin full of delicious nuts.
My God in heaven.
They're so good, aren't they? They're buffalo wing.
Also, did not need a ramekin, but yeah, I appreciate the effort.
I thought
I think it's a ramenkin's nice.
in a bar, you're gonna if you want to eat them, you want to eat.
I want a beer now.
What's the
You know, you get like that salty.
Yeah.
what's the statistic about bar nuts and
Urine.
Yeah. These haven't got any urine on them.
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah.
Well, have you ever been to an American bar where they give you the monkey nut? And
Yeah.
the floor. Oh, God,
Do they just dash them on the floor? The nuts, the shells.
Was that one of them spicy nuts?
They're bloody good, aren't they?
Oh, it's got nutted on.
Wild word.
And they just everyone just breaks.
Oh, let's give them a... You're all right, lad.
Everyone just breaks the nuts and just throws them on the floor.
I mean, that's...
Yeah.
What, you animals?
Yeah.
They used to put hay down in Cancun in some bars. Do you remember?
Spit and sawdust.
On the floor.
Oh,
Sawdust and stuff, yeah.
Well, I don't think I ever understood why.
Yeah, it was one of their,
just
like,
to mop up.
not the main bars we went to. Yeah.
Senior frogs.
Senor
To be
frogs.
fair, like if you're doing that, so you're gonna put hay down to stop the floor getting alcohol spilled on and getting all sticky.
Yeah.
So are you replacing the hay every day? Are you gonna sweep it all out and put new hay down?
That's what they do.
Just keep putting more down.
More on top.
3
until
foot.
until
3
the bar
foot
is
worth of
waist
hay.
deep. You walk into a waist
And the
deep.
only clientele are horses.
Why the long face?
Have you got one more thing?
Oh well, a little chew the fat news just to
Oh, hell yeah. CTF News.
Here we go. Now this is short and sweet, but it gets to the point. Chew the fat news this week. Rescued baby hedgehog turns out to be a hat bobble.
I think I actually saw this. Didn't she nurse him all night?
How is she nursing it? It's a fucking bobble.
A wildlife rescue that took in what was thought to be a baby hedgehog found it was actually caring for a bobble from a hat. It was brought to the Lower Moss Nature Reserve last week. On arrival, they thought the hoglet was in fact a faux...
Hoglet? That's what...
Surely not. Is that what they are?
That is mind-blowing. A hoglet?
It was a faux furry friend.
Specsavers getting really creative with their
But
ads.
firstly, someone's having them on, aren't they? Because if you pick that up, you know it's not a hedgehog.
Yeah,
so it's come in the box.
Hedgehogs are spiky.
Also, you're not nursing it. It hasn't got a mouth.
Yeah. You've put it on some newspaper
Also,
and hope it survives.
You've given it dog food.
I mean, to be fair, that would work.
Would it? How do you know hedgehogs like dog food? Have you
It's
asked
about what
Sonic
they like.
what he eats?
They used to eat I don't know. Just,
Yeah.
just a bit of sustenance, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, not for a hat.
Get out of that.
Hats off, lads. That's it. What a wild ride, eh? We did.
Hats off, indeed.
Yeah.
So, was it how you expected this week to be?
The non-expecting is how I expected it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, okay, yeah, not specifically what you expected, but
I didn't know what to expect. So getting that.
You expected, not expecting. Anyway.
Exactly.
I'm baffled by it.
Yeah. It was great fun, and also been a great end to a pretty tough week, eh?
There we go. There we go.
So cheers,
Wild Ride of
boys.
the Week. Thank you all for being on this wild ride with us. And we will see you all next week.